Pure oxygen is toxic. Oxygen toxicity, or hyperoxia, can damage both the lungs and nervous system, resulting in symptoms such as nausea, inflammation, and muscle twitching. Oxygen toxicity over a long period can even be fatal. So, what's going on here? How does something that's keeping us alive also kill us? Ask people what they're breathing in, and they'll likely say oxygen. But you actually breathe in air, which is 78% nitrogen and 21% oxygen, with the remaining 1% being made of other gases in small amounts, including carbon dioxide. We're very well adapted to this cocktail. Inside your lungs, the oxygen enters your bloodstream because it's chemically attracted to the hemoglobin in your red blood cells and can dissolve in water. The hemoglobin carries oxygen to all of your organs. There, oxygen is an indispensable part of the process of producing energy from the food we eat through a process called cellular respiration. However, a byproduct of cellular respiration is a chemical group called free radicals, or reactive oxygen species, ROS for short. Free radicals are enthusiastic chemicals. They will react with any chemical they bump into in the soupy, jelly-like environment of your cells. This is bad news. When free radicals react with cell proteins, they change the protein, which could mean that it stops working or goes rogue and begins to work when it's not supposed to. The result is mayhem. This is where the antioxidants in your body show up. They're around to prevent or reverse the damage done by free radicals and keep your system from breaking down. However, things change when you breathe in higher concentrations of oxygen. When breathing in atmospheric air, 98% of the oxygen in the blood is carried by hemoglobin, while 2% is carried in the plasma and the water inside the red blood cells. Now, if you inhale oxygen in higher quantities than atmospheric air, the amount of oxygen in the plasma and water of RBCs increases. Your body will use this extra oxygen to ramp up energy production, increasing the number of free radicals in the body. Too many free radicals will overwhelm the body's antioxidant system, which will then fail to neutralize the free radicals. Oxygen also affects other proteins and metabolic reactions, which has consequences for critical organs like the heart. Suppose you continue only to breathe pure oxygen for several hours. In that case, your cells will begin to die, first in your lungs, because the oxygen concentration is the highest there, but the cells of your nervous system will be next. Now, you might wonder, what's all the nitrogen doing in my lungs? Where does that go? Nitrogen gas is wonderfully inert. Its chemical structure is stable, so only a very strong chemical shove will cause it to break its bonds and react. This does not happen in the human body. Nitrogen is not attracted to any of our bodily molecules and doesn't readily dissolve in the plasma of our blood. Most of it, therefore, remains in the lungs, but this is also important. The balanced cocktail of nitrogen and oxygen helps keep our lungs inflated. This is because of the pressure that the mixture of nitrogen gas and oxygen gas exerts on the lungs. Gases exert pressure on their containers. When there's a mixture of gases, the total pressure equals the individual pressures that each gas exerts. The individual pressures of the gases in this mixture is called the partial pressure of that gas. Keeping the lungs inflated, like these spongy balloons that they are, requires calibrating the partial pressures of the gases within the lungs. When we breathe out, some air, mainly nitrogen, remains in our lungs, maintaining a base pressure. We don't think of this essential balance as we walk through life because our lungs and nervous system adjust to these conditions accordingly. If we supplement the air we breathe with only pure oxygen, we will change the air pressure within the lungs, and our lungs will collapse. This is something we do need to think about in hospitals for people with concerns that affect their breathing, or when we launch people into the vacuum of space. However, for most of us, 21% oxygen is just right.